In this lesson, let's talk about how we're going to explore whether or not there's patents associated with these products that we want to sell. Now, I'll start off by saying that patent research is actually a fairly difficult thing. If you speak to a lawyer about it, they're going to tell you, hey, you need to pay us a whole bunch of money to do this really in-depth research, and it can actually get quite expensive paying lawyers to do so. Now, that is the only way to kind of like know for sure that there's no patents on a particular type of product. However, I've developed a few ways to do patent research without hiring a lawyer. And through these methods, you can be like 99% confident that there's not patents associated with your particular product, okay? So the ways that I'm gonna go about doing my patent research is I am going to look on Google Patents. I'm going to look on Amazon for on the particular products or the products' websites. And the last way is to actually order the product that you think might be patented and see if there's like a patent pending or a patent number printed on it. Now, before we go into that research, let me just explain real quickly what the differences are between trademarks, copyrights, and patents, because I know this confuses a lot of people. A trademark is a type of IP protection that you get for a like a brand name. So for example, Jungle Scout is trademarked, or Jungle Sticks, or iPhone. So these are like marks or brand names that you use in commerce. And so that customers aren't deceived, you can trademark that so other companies selling a similar product can't also use that mark in trade, okay? So that's a trademark, so that's one type of IP. The second one is a copyright. Copyrights are a type of IP protection for typically for written works or like music. So an example of this is if I write a book, I own the rights to that copy, the copyrights. So other people can't just copy and paste what I've written and sell it to someone else, okay? So, if you create a song or you create a book or you write something for your website on your blog post or you take a photo, these are all types of works that can be protected through copyrights. So trademarks, something like Jungle Scout. Copyrights is for this book I wrote, I have the copyrights for it. Patents protect a invention or a design, okay? So if I invented this cup right here, it's stainless steel shell, it has a vacuum, I can file for a patent for this particular cup so that people can't copy my work. Now there's two types of patents. There's design patents and there's utility patents. Design patents just protect the look of the product, whereas utility patents protect how it works or how it behaves. Design patents are not that defensible because you can just make a few changes to how it looks and then get around the design patent. Utility patents are much more defensible or offer much more protection because you can't create anything that works or behaves in like the same type of way, okay? So that's a little gist of it. Don't let this scare you off. None of this stuff is that big of a deal. That being said though, we do want to make sure that our products aren't trademarked. So like at this process when we're doing our product research, the only thing I'm really worried about or concerned with is that it's not patented because, if I find a factory in China, they'll be happy to create a product for me even if it's patented. So that's something we want to make sure of. So the first way that I'm going to be looking for a patent is just through Google Patents, okay? So what I want to do here is I just want to type in the name of my product, Trifold poster board, and I want to see what it comes up with. Now, the reason that patent research is difficult is because it is challenging to read through like the legalese that's created when people file for these patents, okay? So you see, this popped up a bunch of different things. A lot of these actually look similar to mine, and let's start clicking on them. I'm going to do my best to describe even though I'm not a patent attorney or expert by any means, a little bit more of like what we're looking at here, all right? So if it says USD, that means it's a design patent. And remember, design patents, they don't offer that much protection because we can just change how it looks a little bit. This is a utility patent or a file for a utility patent because it just says US in front of it. So it's just a utility patent in the US, and that's how we know it. The abstract, this gives you like an overall outline of what they are attempting to get a patent for. So this is portable display boards, foam or rigid paper pulp, with multimedia device mounts for attaching a multimedia device to the front face of the display board, all right? Now, the devil is in the details when you're doing these patent searches, because this particular one, they're talking about with a mount for a multimedia device, okay? So, I can zoom in on this and I see that they, for this particular one, they have like this little iPhone, or excuse me, a little iPad holder in here, okay? So that's what this particular patent is filing for, is like to have one of these trifold displays, but with like an iPad holder. Now, the way you figure out the details of their particular patent is in here in the claims section, okay? So, and it does have to have all of these claims. So, so this one is a system for mounting an electronic multimedia device, which is like a tablet, to a poster board, all right? So ours isn't gonna have that, so no worries from this one. Something else good to note here though is in this section, this is like when they filed for it and whether or not it's active. And this is important because sometimes these are just patent pending, so they filed for it, but maybe they didn't get it. Patents also do expire, so this is where you can see if the patent has expired. Let's go back and look a little bit more at some of these other ones. Let's see. This one looks like it's something different. Same thing, like to hold kind of a iPad or something. What else do we have here? This one, it looks like it's created a little bit differently. It has kind of like these boxes inside of it. A three-dimensional shelf, including a slot for the H-cut. So this one's like a little bit different. So essentially, I would just read through some of these and make sure that none of them, that my particular product isn't infringing on any of these patents. Now, like I said, this is pretty kind of like deep and difficult reading to be able to read through all these different patents, just because it's very much written in like legalese, right? So, so this is probably the most thorough way to go about doing your patent research. And if you were to hire an attorney that specializes in this, this is the method that they would use to do so. This is the best way, but there are other ways to do your patent research, like I mentioned earlier, right? So a pretty decent way to gauge whether or not a product is patented is just based off of how many people sell a very similar product, okay? Because one of the things about having any type of IP protection actually, but specifically patents and trademarks, is you do have to enforce them as the IP holder. So if there are a bunch of other sellers, or if there are a bunch of different sellers or different brands selling this same type of product, it's much less likely that that particular product is patented, okay? Now, again, if a lawyer was watching this right now, they'd be like, okay, that doesn't mean it. The only way to really do it is to read through a billion patents and check for sure. But I mean, realistically, if there's a bunch of different brands selling this product, it's probably not patented. So like on here, I see that this one is from JJ Care. This one's from Pacon, Art Skills, Darice, Art Skills, Elmer, Rightco, again, Pacon. So there's quite a few different manufacturers. This one's Bazik or whatever. So there's quite a few different manufacturers or brands selling what appears to be a very similar product. So like as a result, I would be pretty confident that this particular style actually isn't patented, okay? Now, another way that you can check to see whether or not a product is patented is just not even a search on Google Patents, but actually just straight up on Google with just patent on the end. So trifold poster board patent. So of course, those are the Google patents that they're trying to pull up. So for example, this website, they claim that they have a patent pending. So, okay, this is like the ones we're looking at, the ones that hold an iPad. And I would just scroll through these results and I would kind of dig into some of these a little bit deeper to see if there are any companies that like legitimately hold a patent for it. So for this particular example, I would be pretty confident that it is not patented because, first impression when I'm looking at the Google Patents website, it doesn't look like any of those pertain to my particular style of product. There's quite a few different brands or sellers selling the exact same style of product on Amazon, and just a quick Google search here didn't pull anything up. Now, if you're selling a product, or if there's only like one person selling a type of product on Amazon and it's fairly unique looking, then chances are that it is patented because otherwise it'd be more likely that people have kind of like created something similar to it. All right. So I can do the same thing real quickly for the what are we calling this? Exam table paper. This one I'd be pretty confident that there's not anything because these are essentially rolls of paper. Don't really see anything there. Let me do roll of paper. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty confident this one wouldn't, that wouldn't be patented. If we jump into Amazon, exam table paper, there's a whole bunch of people selling a very similar type thing. So this one I'd be quite confident that it is not patented, all right? But that's essentially like the gist of how I go about doing my patent research, okay? Now, like I said, the only way to really know for sure whether or not something is patented is by hiring an attorney, and they do all this research, but it's quite expensive. So using kind of just the methods that I just explained there, you can be like 99% confident that there's not a patent on your particular product, all right? And if you're kind of like in a little bit of a gray zone, that's usually when you have to do a little bit more in-depth research. Maybe you have to order the product to see if there's a patent number stamped on it. These are just kind of like different ways to find out whether or not these items are patented or not. If you do find a product that you really like, but you're still not quite, or it's like you're in a little bit of a gray zone and it's tough to tell whether or not you'd be kind of like breaking that patent or not. A fairly cost-effective way to do more thorough product or patent research is you can find it on the Jungle Scout Market. If you just search for patent or go under legal and do patents, delete this real quick, just legal patents. There's a couple people, this person right here for $500, or it looks like both of them for $500. They will do a patent search for you. Now, you're going to find this is quite a bit cheaper than going like a more traditional lawyer route because, a lot of lawyers charge $300, $400, $500 per hour, and it's going to be pretty rare for them to be able to do all their research within 1 hour. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of how you go about doing so. When in doubt, if you're still not quite sure whether or not it's patented, I would probably recommend to err on the side of caution because the last thing you want to do is order a whole container load full of goods, get it shipped into Amazon, and then get a letter from a patent holder a few days later saying you have to take it off Amazon and they might threaten to sue you or whatever else. But as long as you do a little bit of due diligence, it shouldn't be an issue and you should have nothing to worry about. So in the next lesson, now that we have confirmed that I don't have any concerns with patents around these two particular products, I'm going to show you how I go about researching how to make improvements to my products. So I'll see you in there.